Britain's Prince Harry and his family will return to the United Kingdom for a visit next month. British media reported Wednesday the Duke and Duchess of Sussex are expected to be accompanied by their two children, Archie, 7, and Lilibet, 5, in what would be their first trip to the UK as a family in 4 years, according to the BBC, The Telegraph and ITV News. Colombia opened their World Cup Group K campaign with a 3-1 victory over Uzbekistan at the Estadio Azteca on Wednesday. As Daniel Munoz, Luis Diaz and Jaminton Campas struck to overcome a spirited second-half response from the tournament debutants, Uzbekistan were disciplined for long periods under their Italian coach, Fabio Cannavaro, but Colombia's greater quality stood out in front of a crowd of over 80,000 on a cool, rain-tinged evening in Mexico City.
Apple's outgoing CEO Tim Cook has confirmed that the company will have to raise prices on its products due to increasing costs. No thanks to the memory crisis. In an exclusive interview with the Wall Street Journal, Cook said, "Unfortunately, price increases are unavoidable." He added,
Residents of Islamabad can now access several vehicle-related services launched by the Ex and Taxation Department. According to the department, citizens can book appointments through the helpline RFI1 383-383 for service including vehicle registration, transfer of ownership and other excise-related procedures. Following the request, a departmental team will visit the applicant's location to complete the process. The Parkshan break.
One day of football, 5 icons, 17 goals. And a story that spanned generations on a dizzying Wednesday at the Erling Haaland announce himself. We watched Kylian Mbappé conquer France's record books, Lionel Messi ascend to immortality, Harry Kane deliver for England, and Cristiano Ronaldo, for the first time, look every bit his 41 years.
Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi said there had been significant progress in long-running talks with Washington for a trade deal. According to a statement issued on Thursday after his meeting with United States President Donald Trump, the leaders met on the sidelines of the G7 summit in Evian in France on Wednesday, their first face-to-face talks since February 2025 in Washington.
A parade of luxury cars, handbags and yachts up for auction has done little to help their owner, a disgraced Vietnamese tycoon, repay the billions she owes victims in one of the largest fraud cases in history. Once one of Vietnam's richest businesswomen, Truong My Lan, received 2 life central role in a scam where she and her accomplices siphoned about 44 billion banks through one of the country's largest banks. Ukraine struck a key oil refinery in Moscow early Thursday morning for the second time this week, Russian officials said, as Kyiv increasingly targets Russian energy infrastructure in long-range attacks. Several drones hit the Moscow oil refinery in the southeastern district of Kapotnya, said Sergei Sobyanin, mayor of the Russian capital city, on Telegram, according to Reuters. More than 4 dozen drones heading toward Moscow were downed, he said. Peshawar Health Department has instructed hospitals in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa to establish heatwave emergency units for proper management of the victims of sunstroke due to soaring temperature, an advisory issued to all district health officers, medical superintendents and medical directors of medical teaching institutions. By the Directorate General Health Services, said that in view of the climatic extremes and escalating global warming, rising temperatures led to a significant increase in heat-related illnesses, posing a serious public health risk, particularly to elderly, children, pregnant women, athletes, infants and individuals with pre-existing medical conditions. Mardan. A man and his wife were killed when an unidentified assailant opened fire inside a Gurdwara located in the Babu Mohalla of the Khwaja Ganj Bazaar here on Wednesday. Police and Rescue 1122 officials said the deceased were reportedly serving as caretakers of the Gurdwara.
Peshawar. Following a recent approval by the Khyber Pakhtunkhwa Police Policy Board, rules and regulations have been put in place to raise Special Combat Unit, a highly trained well-equipped strike force to carry out intelligence-based targeted operations against terrorists in the province. The force, comprising 400 personnel, will be selected from the police's elite force, whose members will be put to rigorous medical, psychological and physical tests and will be exempted from routine policing duties, said an official statement issued by the Office of KP Inspector General of Police Zulfikar Hamid.
US President Donald Trump's interim deal with Iran has drawn a backlash from fellow Republicans who argue the agreement wastes billions of dollars of taxpayer money and does little to restrict Tehran's nuclear program under a 14-point Memorandum of Understanding, OU, signed on Wednesday. The US and Iran committed to an immediate and permanent end to military operations on all fronts, including in Lebanon. No new schemes included as GOV prioritises completion of ongoing projects. 47114 be earmarked for Agriculture Department components. 1. 41 BN for livestock sector in FY 2026-27. CM highlights SIN's contribution to key crops, announces 20 BN support for wheat sector Hyderabad. The province's agriculture development portfolio, inclusive of the livestock sector, has been allocated 6.12 billions, about 1.66% of the total annual development programme, ADP, of the Sindh government for 2026-27. Karachi. The Sindh government on Wednesday allocated $210.573 billion for law and order, including security, law enforcement, prisons and prosecution in the provincial budget for the financial year 2026-27. In the outgoing fiscal year, the government had allocated 210 BN, and the current budget shows an increase of 2.7%.
Lahore. Punjab will establish a unified revenue authority on the model of the Federal Board of Revenue, FBR, during the next fiscal year, bringing all provincial taxes under a single institutional framework. Finance Minister Mian Mujtaba Shuja Rehman told a post-budget press conference here on Wednesday the province successfully achieved 99% of its tax collection target during the outgoing fiscal year, while the revenue target for FY 2026-27 has been increased by 46 PC, he added.
Japan must strengthen its defence capabilities, Defence Minister Shinjiro Koizumi has told the BBC, emphasising the need to revisit the pacifist posture that has defined the country since World War II. He said boosting defence, reinforcing its alliance with the United States and expanding collaboration with like-minded countries was part of building multi-layered deterrence critical for ensuring that no new war breaks out in this region.
Former Nigerian oil minister has been cleared of taking bribes from wealthy oil executives in the form of luxury homestays and lavish spending sprees in the UK. Yedzani Alison's Madueke, 65, was found not guilty after a trial at London's Southwark Crown Court of 5 counts of accepting bribes and a charge of conspiracy to commit bribery.
Harare, Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe's lithium industry is dominated by a handful of large-scale mining projects, most of them backed by Chinese investment. Major producers include Bakita Minerals in Mzvingo Province, Prospect Lithium Zimbabwe's Arcadia mine near Harare, Kamativi Lithium mine in Matabeleland North, Sabi Star Lithium mine in Beira, Sandawana mine in Barengwa, and Gwanda Lithium mine in Matabeleland South. Together, these projects have helped make Zimbabwe one of Africa's leading lithium producers and an increasingly important supplier of battery minerals used in electric vehicles and renewable energy technologies. Finance Minister set to deliver winding-up speech today, cut motions to follow. Spats between ruling, opposition lawmakers degenerate into name-calling. PPP defence BISA allocations, demands more funds for agriculture as land bad. Finance Minister Mohammed Aurangzeb is set to deliver the winding-up speech in the lower house, as the general debate on the federal budget is expected to be finished today, Thursday, in line with its preset 40-hour duration. Chief Minister Murad reduces capital expenditure by 29% to 720 billion for next fiscal year. Education, health, environment and social protection to take major hits, Karachi. Sindh Chief Minister Murad Ali Shah on Wednesday cut development spending by a steeper 29%, 720 billion for 2026 to 27, compared with the original estimates for the outgoing fiscal year.
Long before a church is burned, a mosque vandalised or a mob assembled, the poison that enables such violence has been spreading quietly for months or years. Hate speech rarely begins with physical attacks. It starts with words that portray entire communities as threats, outsiders or people less deserving of rights and dignity. By the time violence erupts, the prejudices behind it have often become deeply entrenched.
A US-Iran agreement to extend the ceasefire between the two countries has been signed and is now in effect. A White House official has confirmed to the BBC President Donald Trump formally signed the deal, which is set to reopen the pivotal Strait of Hormuz, while attending the G7 summit in Evian-les-Bains in France.
Ghana's fans and players celebrated wildly as Caleb Urenki finished a sweeping counter-attack with a tap-in goal in the 5th minute of second-half stoppage time to give the team a last-gasp win over Panama in both teams' opening World Cup match in rainy Toronto. The goal was followed by a melee before the referee blew the full-time whistle, sealing a 1-0 victory in the Group L match on Wednesday.
South Africa coach Hugo Broos told critics of his tactics in last week's World Cup opener to shut up and insisted he would continue to do things his way when planning for his team's group, a clash against Czechia. There was an outcry in South Africa when Broos took a rare defensive approach in the tournament's opening match against Mexico last Thursday, which his team lost 2-0 without creating any genuine chances of their own.
It happened to me. I opened a Google Doc to write an article, and I was immediately confronted with a text box inviting me to write with Gemini. I looked for some button to swipe away the garish AI display, but I could not find it. It made me mad. Now, instead of writing the article I'm supposed to be working on, I am writing about how to get the AI pop-ups off of your Google Docs screen, since it took me some time to figure out. You're welcome. US President Donald Trump and Iran's President Masoud Pezeshkian a short while ago formally signed a historic peace agreement to end months of war, despite reckless attempts by Israel to sabotage the deal. The signing took place electronically during a dinner hosted by French President Emmanuel Macron at the Palace of Versailles in France, where Trump officially endorsed the agreement. On the other end, Pezeshkian signed the same deal to commence the 60-day period to reach a deal.
Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif said early on Thursday that the Islamabad Memorandum of Understanding, MOU, between the United States and Iran had been signed electronically by both sides. The memorandum has been signed by honourable presidents of both the countries and also endorsed by me as the mediator. The signing of this agreement at the highest level of the respective governments demonstrates the commitment of both sides to a diplomatic resolution of the conflict, he said in a post on the social media platform X.
The administration of United States President Donald Trump has announced that all immigrant detainees have been transferred out of a Florida detention facility known as Alligator Alcatraz, effectively shuttering the controversial facility. The Department of Homeland Security, DHS, said on Wednesday that everyone being held in the state-run facility had been transferred out, citing concerns about the start of the Atlantic hurricane season.
Iran's Ministry of Foreign Affairs spokesperson, Esmail Baghai, has announced that a memorandum of understanding with the United States has been finalised and signed electronically by both sides. He added that the agreement has already gone into effect. It's been called Ramageddon. AI's insatiable demand for hardware has caused a worldwide shortage of memory chips. Now, outgoing Apple CEO Tim Cook is warning its customers that your next Mac, iPhone, Or iPad could be more expensive thanks to surging memory and storage chips costs. In a recent interview, Cook told the WSJ that price increases are unavoidable, spite of efforts to absorb chip costs that have increased fourfold since last year. He described the situation as unsustainable.